I keep noticing how quickly I reach for distraction, not because I need it, but because it's there. Noise feels easier than silence. Movement feels safer than stillness. Even boredom with company feels lighter than boredom alone. Sitting with myself, really sitting, feels heavier than it should. Nothing dramatic happens when I stop. The room doesn't change. The world keeps moving. But something inside tightens, like I've removed a layer of insulation I didn't know I was relying on. The quiet doesn't arrive empty. It arrives crowded. Thoughts I didn't invite show up anyway. Half-finished opinions. Feelings without names. Reactions I've been carrying without examining. I realize how rarely I let anything land long enough to understand what it actually is. I move on before it settles. I distract myself before it can ask for definition. And maybe that's part of the discomfort. Sitting with myself means listening long enough to notice that I don't always know what I feel. About people, about choices, about the life I'm living versus the one I imagined. Distraction lets me postpone that reckoning. Silence doesn't. I wonder sometimes what it means to have a stance at all. Not a loud one, just a quiet internal orientation. If I don't take time to define what I feel about something, really define it, even clumsily, then what separates me from a feather? Something light, directionless, obedient to whichever way the wind happens to blow that day. It's unsettling to think how often my moods, opinions, and even decisions are shaped by momentum rather than intention, by what's easiest, by what's loudest, by what's nearest. Without stopping to listen, I'm not choosing so much as drifting. And drifting feels harmless until you realize how far it can take you. Stillness asks a different kind of attention. Not the focused kind, the honest kind. The kind that doesn't rush to clarity. When I sit quietly, I don't suddenly discover what I want. More often, I discover confusion, or resistance, or a faint sense of misalignment I've been outrunning. Sometimes all I learn is what I don't want, and even that feels significant. Knowing what I don't want narrows the field. It gives shape to absence. It draws a boundary where everything used to blur. It may not tell me where to go, but it tells me where not to stay. That feels like something, maybe more than nothing. But even reaching that point requires staying long enough to hear myself think. And that's harder than it sounds. Because liking oneself isn't the same as approving of oneself. Sitting quietly doesn't always produce warmth. Sometimes it produces discomfort, sometimes boredom, sometimes a low-grade irritation I can't immediately justify. I think I avoid stillness because it removes excuses. When I'm distracted, I can blame the noise. When I'm busy, I can blame the schedule. When I'm alone with myself, there's nothing external to point to. Whatever I feel is mine. That ownership feels exposed. There's also the unease of not performing, not progressing, not narrating, just existing without commentary. I'm so used to framing my life, explaining it internally, contextualizing it, optimizing it, that the absence of narration feels like a void, as if I'm wasting time by not turning the moment into something useful. But maybe usefulness isn't the point of listening. Maybe sitting with oneself isn't about insight or peace or growth. Maybe it's just about allowing thoughts to finish their sentences, letting feelings reach their own conclusions instead of cutting them off midway, letting silence stretch without rushing to fill it. I don't know if that leads to liking oneself. That feels too clean, too resolved. What it might lead to is familiarity, and maybe familiarity is a quieter, more honest form of acceptance. Distraction will probably always be easier. It asks nothing. It carries me without resistance. But stillness, uncomfortable as it is, feels like the only place where anything actually takes shape. Even uncertainty, even rejection, even the simple, grounding knowledge of what doesn't belong. And maybe that's enough to begin with. Not clarity, not answers, just the willingness to stop long enough to notice which way the wind has been pushing and whether I want to keep drifting with it.